Welcome to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And today I want to talk about, I want to call it things you missed in your magical development. And just kind of reflecting over the years as I've played with magic, the occult, mysticism, spirituality, yoga. Um, I find the new branding, like people present information on magic and witchcraft and the occult, and we assume that they've mastered it, or we assume that because they have this knowledge, they have this power, you know? And and then when we look at the problems people have with magic, it's usually because there's this misunderstanding, these assumptions and ideas. Um, but I just want to start off that magic is a self development process. For some people, they will be tapping into their connection with life, with the universe, and with the earth and the four elements. And so, one of the first things you need is to be able to connect to your body, to the earth, to your environment. New Age spirituality, religion brought in the ideas of purity, they brought in the ideas of morality, they brought in the ideas of working for salvation. And then it gets turned into this work to burn off karma, work to evolve and become a deity, or a higher being, ascension, evolution. And so we find there's this, like, I call it the Puritan virus or the Puritan strain that's laced itself through New Age Western culture. And so we get the ideas of like good and evil, right and wrong. And a lot of that really happened, I believe, because of the Dark Ages, and if history is any indicator of a pattern, uh, we run into problems. We get very polarized. And so then we have things so so just kind of like in a broad overview, look out for the idea of should and shouldn't, right and wrong. And so judgment has become something kind of taboo and frowned upon, but we don't know why. And the reality is because you're, as soon as you like label something, uh, you've basically judged it. And that label, that definition, then kind of blocks out the rest of the possibilities of what could happen. So if you label someone, a failure, or you labeled your spell a failure, then you've blocked out uh, the process. You blocked out transformation. You blocked out surprises. Maybe it just takes some time. Maybe that it's just, all part of the process. And so slapping on a label like right, wrong, good, and bad, you negate, you limit. By definition, you limit its fullest potential. So you narrow it down. So is judgment bad? The answer is no. You have a right to judge, you have a right to label, you have a right to feel for something and against something. But just know you're limiting options, you're limiting possibility. So you're clogging, you're blocking, you're tying a knot uh, in the energy flow. You're tying a knot in the many ways, spirit may speak to you, or energy may flow, new solutions to problems. So this happens on an individual level in your psychology. This happens as you interact with the world and the way humanity is going. Humanity on a collective level needs to look at the labels, look at the definitions, and notice how these ideas of limitation are actually narrowing the energy, suffocating the energy in a society, in a civilization, in a species. And we're doing that to ourselves. So, Onyx, I thought your videos were about channeling and magic and intuition and spirituality. Yes. So, magic is kind of a very rebellious thing because you're not going truly on what everyone has told you. Like, you may initially get the idea that magic is something you want to play with. The occult, spirituality, new age, energy, channeling, other realms, multidimensionality, And so then you go to get information, you might take some workshops and some classes, but it's all limited. And so you're getting maybe 5% of the knowledge through the written word and through passed down information, and maybe even through tradition, how we viewed things. There has to be a point where you now have gathered a few bits and pieces, and now you're willing to go into the unknown, explore. So, exploring your body, how energy moves through your body, how the seasons affect your body, how you observe and watch from the beginning to the end of your life cycle in the seasons. You become aware, very much aware of yourself and how things are working. And then you become aware of your environment, you become aware of your planet, you become aware. And so, in a weird way, with the direction that modern man is taking itself in science, like, yay, science, right? Nothing against science. Realize you're getting a very narrow, accepted collective agreement of science. You're getting 1%, and we're taking it as far as we can, like a laser beam. We're doing that with technology as well. We have an idea of what technology looks like, what its potential is. We put our hope and faith in technology, and we're getting a narrow, acceptable scope. Anything outside of that is not branded technology, not branded useful. So then we slap words on like, that won't work, that's dysfunctional, it's crazy, that's insane, that's a no, that's a zero, that's a fail, and that's not productive, that's not useful, that's backwards. And so see how, in a weird way, we describe things, we define things, and we almost can't get out of this dualistic model of right, wrong, useful, not useful, productive, not productive, yes, invest, no, invest. That was a loss. This is a win. This is a risk. There's no risk, That's a successful relationship. That's not a successful relationship. So most of our problems come from these labels, these ideals, and they're all just like thoughts. And they're kind of intangible because thoughts, in a weird way, have no existence. They are more like air. It can come and go. It can change. Thoughts will be thoughts, but they lack substance. They lack earth, Can you nurture a thought with water? Yeah. So, anyways, moving on. Here you are, and you're wanting to realize yourself as the magical, powerful person you are. So, all paths are one. Magical, mystical paths can do that for you. You can self realize yourself. So, realize you are the magic. You realize you are the creator. Realize you are the deity. Realize all these things. But we might get an idea of that truth, but you want to experience it. So, who really wants to get on a roller coaster and say, well, now that I bought my ticket and I'm going to go on this ride, I just want to do the last 10% of the ride, the coming back. Well, you missed all the ups and downs, all the curves, all the thrills, all the excitement, all the bends in the road. You know, you pretty much missed the whole ride. So, that's not really learning. Like, you're not getting the full experience. So, a lot of my magic, a lot of my spiritual practice is bring heaven to earth, bring spirit into matter, bring all the ideas of creation through me. So, life may seem to be happening to you, then it's happening for you, then you realize it's happening through you. So, spiritual disciplines have realized this. But you can realize that through the art of magic. Magic has been a science, it's been an art, it's been psychology, it's been chemistry. Magic is on the outer edge of possibility. It borders the known and the unknown. It is the veil that religion talks about. Why are we born with the veil? You're not. You're just programmed to think that. So, just kind of an introduction that we have ideas that might need to be put to the side when you want to channel, when you want to have an experience with the divine. And so creating sacred space, understanding inner temple is important. And so through your magic and rituals of casting a circle, calling the 4 directions and all that stuff, you start to realize I need to create a space around me in my environment. Then you also kind of realize I need to become a space that is open, clear, and clean to have something move through me, inspiration for whatever project it is, So you can make this more simple. I want to study and do my homework. And so if my bedroom is a mess, I need to clean it up. If my desk is dirty, I need to clean it up. Then once everything is set and stable, I feel now I can get a project done. I can study, I can do artwork, I can do whatever I need to do without disruptions, without having to clean something up during mid-process, no traffic jam. So we need to do that to our minds. We need to do that to our hearts. And so it's like, when you start looking at people doing magic, it's like, is your world cleaned up? Is it functional? So we as humans do a lot of self-sabotaging things to stop ourselves, from belief models of limitation to literally undone projects, not fully committed, not finishing things, all sorts of things. We work a lot against ourselves. It takes, I think, a lot more work to be a failure in life than a success in life. But you won't understand that until you really start looking, becoming aware of how we as humans set ourselves up for failure, holding on to a system that no longer works, sets up all humanity for failure. Farming, so we need evolution and revolution. That doesn't happen unless you're willing to take a risk. That doesn't happen until you're willing to do something wild and crazy, something not normal, innovative. So we have inner and outer revolutions, And so once again, magic is there because it's on that outer edge and you're taking risks and you're experimenting. You're playing with the unknown. You're using the knowledge that you've learned over the past, whether it's been handed down by a culture, but then in the present moment, you're willing to adapt and change and then even foresee the needed change. And so you're working with the past, you're working with the future, you're centered in the present, and all powers here now, you're conjuring an experience that can be healing, that can be enlightening, that can be revolutionary, that could be supportive of where you're going. So you're moving in 3 directions all at once. So now that you kind of know, there's really a lot to it, and we haven't even cast a spell. We haven't even begun to channel. And there's a lot you can do to set yourself up for success. So now let's kind of move into it. During your magical training, whether it was Western mystery, whether it was witchcraft, studying on your own, reading through books, you should have kind of got a feel for things. Water vibration and energy feels like this. Fire energy vibration feels like that. Maybe you played with lots of crystals and stones, and you're like, everyone says rose quartz is for self-love. What does that feel like? What does that look like? You didn't, so you probably bought a piece of rose quartz and you felt that. Then you compared it. Here's amethyst. Well, that feels way different. Okay, it didn't do anything immediately on its own. Maybe I need to cleanse it. Okay. And so during your magical process, you're starting to learn the language of vibration, of energy. You're like, oh yeah, that crystal is way overloaded, because I know what overloaded crystals feel like. They make me nauseous. They give me a headache. They make my stomach turn. I get tired. I want to throw it across the room. It hurts my bones. So you see how important it is. Your body as a sensory machine, sensory organ, is notifying you. Okay, that crystal's clean. Now you've charged it in the sun or the moon. You've grounded it. You've done all these wonderful things. And then your body reacts a certain way. Whoa, I feel like around my head, space, energy. Oh, great ideas are flowing. Oh, you know what? I think it could go work out. I feel motivated. Oh, answers are coming to me. Okay, so you're kind of using your body and your instincts and these small experiences that aren't really amazing. You're gaining subtlety, you're gaining nuance, you're seeing how it actually supports you in real life or harms you in real life. You're like, and so you're learning subtle. And so you can now start to distinguish, okay, these thoughts and feelings I'm vibrating out to others affect them. That's revolutionary for a lot of people. We tend to think my business, my body, my life, my business, and we're not taking ownership of how connected we really are. And this actually leads into full-blown development of psychic abilities. So why there's techniques, methods, gurus, spells, rituals, music, frequencies of opening up psychic abilities, the fastest way, the most profound way, all-encompassing way, is to simply realize through experiencing all things are connected. Can you walk by a tree and feel its mood? Can you feel when you're projecting your mood onto the tree and onto your environment? Can you tell the difference between your vibes bouncing off of everything and coming back, or the vibes actually trying to reach you? And so your attitude is really important. And you'd be like, yeah, my mom says I have a bad attitude. All the older cultures are saying I have a self-defeating attitude. You know, what is an attitude? But you can think of it as a dial. What are you dialing into? What are you aligned with? So we kind of get these new age terms like vibration, alignment. And then they're kind of broad words that can be understood superficially. Like I had some friends, they were all hippies and into medicine plants and shamanism. And they'd be like, dude, it's all frequency. And I'd be like, yeah, what is a frequency? Explain the difference between frequency, energy, vibration, fast and slow frequency. Like, explain it. And they couldn't. But ask the questions, figure it out, do a little research, till you understand things. So I really presented a lot of information. And we can wrap it up into the morality that's built into the universe versus the morality that's been created by humans for all their reasons and excuses. Is there morality in the universe? The answer is yes. But it's not like a right-wrong thing. It's like, that physically feels right. That physically feels wrong. You all know if you're going against yourself, not the idea of yourself, but your actual self, there's going to be a reaction. So if I eat foods I'm allergic to, I'm going to have a physical, biological reaction. If I'm listening to music that's presenting ideas, vibrations that aren't in alignment with my true being, my true essence, on some level, maybe I'm doing it to explore. I went through my dark age where I really explored some dark stuff. And all along the whole journey through, I got two sets of signals. Yes, I want to explore this. Ooh, let's see how destructive I can be. Let's see. And then also, that doesn't feel right. That it's kind of like not who you are, but keep going anyways. And so I've always had the two set of signals that comes with awareness. I never stopped. I didn't shut the door to my intuition. I didn't shut the door to my soul. I wasn't trying to exactly be someone else, but I was exploring things that weren't me as me, having a human experience. And this is very relevant to channeling, what you want to channel, how easy it is to channel, how easy it is to work magic, Why isn't that spell working? It might be against your truth. Do you really want to control someone into being with you for your security issues? Is that really love? Doesn't that seem like a lot of effort? For me, that's yeah. For someone else, that might be part of their learning curve and they're all for it. And you'll have the experience of that. Do you really want to cast a spell for that job that's going to pay you more but treat you like crap? Where you don't get to be yourself? So we find we really ask for things that we don't need. And complications happen when we're out of vibration with ourselves. So you can say most of your life is symptomatic, not problematic. It's not coming from an actual problem, but the symptoms are showing up as problems or secondary to something very core of you not either knowing who you actually are, not being in tune and in touch with yourself, and then you going about it in ways that aren't within that alignment. So you would call that not moral. You would call that out of integrity. It's not an authentic, transparent expression of you. So, and when it's authentic, transparent expression of yourself, you experience flow, you experience sense of ease, you feel empowered, not powerful, but empowered. You feel like you're co-creating with the universe. You feel like everything, inner and outer, somehow came together and a masterpiece was created. So you might experience this when you're playing music, you might experience this when you're drawing, whatever it is that you like to do, you experience this sense of accomplishment, but it happened with ease and grace and wonder and awe, and you're like, I can't believe I just did that. Time flew and I produced this wonderful piece of art or whatever that was. So those are the signals. You're in alignment with who you are in the moment and things are working. So this has everything to do with try to bring that into your magic. Try to bring that into your spirituality. So be willing to drop things when you start feeling resistance, because it could be a signal you're going against your actual self. So just putting that out there. And so there's so much information on the occult, because it's exciting and fascinating. You don't learn that in school. And so traditions all around the world have had their mystical traditions and the philosophies that go with it and the rituals that go with it and the religions and all that. And we get so much information, and we also get so many different perspectives on other people's experiences of it, that my suggestion is to find commonalities within all that. Don't make them superficial, but see the overall commonality, the idea of it all. Make it super, super basic for yourself and go ahead and try. Go ahead and experiment and see what happens. Record it in your book of shadows, and then try a long-term experiment. For 6 months, carry a piece of obsidian, instead of just a week or just a day. What would it be like over a long period of time? What would it be like over a short period of time, just for a moment? So there's a lot of experimenting and freedom that goes into the creative process. But then don't just get stuck studying. Don't just get stuck experimenting. Develop something, anything because in that full development process, you develop something in you. And so it is the royal path, it is the path of the wise. Whatever you call it, whether you call it yoga, whether you call it witchcraft or mysticism, or you're studying a branch within that, like channeling, communicating with angels, playing around with gods, working with elementals. And so a lot of people at the most basic level of the craft are actually trying to do masterpiece levels. And we're going to do it anyways. As soon as you start art, you have this idea of creating perfect comic book pieces of art. And then you get down to it and you're drawing a stick figure and you think you suck. Know where you are in the journey, you know? There's a full development process that goes on. Yes, you're aiming for that, but there's no reason to get down on yourself when you're not there yet. So, and you might have moments of you were so in the flow and a masterpiece came out, but that's not your normal. Your normal is not exactly, oops, not exactly. They're miniature movements to better, to great, to awesome, to everything I now produce is masterpiece level. Every spell I cast works. So all paths are one. And you really, that's really what I'm saying. Make it super basic. Honor who you actually are. And so up for review, up for reevaluation, and filtering out other people's attitude, filtering out their agendas, filtering out those definitions and labels to give yourself enough freedom to play, to be creative, and to have a real experience of magic and what it has to offer you. And you're going to get a very integrated, holistic experience. You know, it's going to work on you on psychological levels, creating balance and wholeness. Physically, you're going to become more in tune and healthy. And then in your environment, you're going to feel more connected to life, others. You're going to kind of get the meaning of life. It's like the unsaid thing. We're all connected. So take advantage of that connection and create better energetic connections. So